Coming up now on the Business RadioX network, Miracles from Up for body, hair, and soul with your hosts, Kayla Womack and Ron Reynolds.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Miracles with Up. Our sponsor today is Up Salon Products, and we are coming to you live streaming from the Tucson Business RadioX studio, located in the Stewart Title and Trust corporate offices on Broadway Boulevard. I'm Ron Reynolds, one of your hosts, and my co-host is Kayla Womack.
Hello, hello. Good to be here with you guys again. This is now our second show, and I think the first was great. I had a lot of amazing feedback, and I'm very excited today because we have two special guests. Taylor, I appreciate you coming all the way from the Phoenix area to visit with us. You are such a phenomenal young man, and I've had the pleasure of knowing you for a few years now. And then the other guest that I have today is my beautiful mom, Quanah. And, well, I've known you my whole life, so there's that. There's that. So we're going to go ahead and put you on the spot since you are my family. That's what happens. Okay. You're well seasoned with that, right, Mom?
Yep.
So you have been, as my mom, a huge inspiration to me, clearly. I mean, I've followed in your footsteps in so many different ways. I've been doing hair with you for 20 years now, and I've always looked up to you. You've been one of my greatest role models and one of my best friends. So thank you for doing this. I only had to pull your arm a little, right? So, Mom, I wanted to talk to you today about your beginnings in this business, in the hair business. And I know you went to cosmetology school in 1982, just a few years after I was born. But at that time, it was really challenging. You were a single mom with my eldest brother, Johnny, and myself. Not only were you taking care of us and putting yourself through school, but you were also taking care of your elderly grandfather. So I want you to just go into that time, take a step back in your mind, and just tell me a little bit about that, because I often am so amazed by the strength that you had. You had so much on your plate at that time. So can you just tell me what happened during that time and what pushed you into cosmetology? Can you give me some of your history that will lead us into our conversation here on the show?
Yes. What pushed me into the industry? Well, first of all, it's a little bit hard because you have to go way back, but it's called survival mode. And when you're in survival mode, you know that you have to, without a lot of education at the beginning, you have to get that education. So I've always loved messing with hair, making people feel beautiful. And I just knew that that was what I wanted to do. And I knew that in survival mode that I was going to have to start a career. And that's what I did. And taking care of my grandfather at the same time, he took care of me as well as I took care of him. But the day that I took my state board, they missed me 15 minutes to let me know that my dad had just passed away. So there has been one hit after another, but, with those hits, they make you stronger.
Absolutely. You keep talking about survival mode, and I know you're being very generalized right now, and you're just scratching the surface, but what caused you to go into survival mode at that time?
Through my first marriage being very abusive, almost losing my life, and also knowing that I could have lost my life and both my children, you and Johnny. And so therefore, you just have to do what you've got to do. And in order to protect myself and you and Johnny, I had to do this. And this is one way that, I just did it,
That could be called mother mode, too.
Yes.
Right.
I know a lot of mothers.
Mama bear.
Mama bear. Yes. You go into survival mode for your children as much as you do for yourself. And my mother was in that relationship and happened that way. And I've known you for probably 30 years or so, and I've seen how things have come your way, and you've always managed to survive. So
I know what it's like to have to get food stamps. I know what it's like to go hungry. And I know what it's like to when you need to survive.
Absolutely. And I think that's part of what has built your character. And something that I witness every day is the way that you love on your clients and the people around you. Because of it, you have a lot of discernment. You can tell when people are struggling, and you always offer your advice and help. And most of the time, people are quite shocked because you look like this glamour queen that was born with a silver spoon in your mouth. And a lot of people assume that of you. And they even say that to me, your mom looks like she's royalty over here. And I'm like, well, you don't get a diamond without the rough. So,
And there's been a lot of rough.
You're a beautiful diamond, Quanah. Also, you started at Great Waves Hair Salon, where you then met, during that time, you met
The
Kurt.
love of my life.
Absolutely. Yeah. Kurt, who then became my dad and Johnny's dad. And what an amazing man he is. So that was, about what time was that?
1983.
Okay. So about a year after you started your career. And just tell me what that was like for you, starting your career and then finding a spouse that was in the same career as you. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, when you're working with somebody, you keep it professional, so we kept it professional, and we were just the best of friends. So I fell in love with my best friend, and within 6 months later, we fell in love.
You guys were wild.
Yeah, we were.
I love hearing some of the stories. Absolutely love it. I think over the past year, both you and Dad had shared a lot with us kids. Now that we're older and raising our own kids, I think it was about time to show us that your life in the beginning was maybe a little bit more crazy than we thought. Because, as parents were like, well, we were perfect and we never smoked or drank or did anything bad. And then you get older and we hear all the fun stories. And you guys were very passionate, and I loved witnessing your love in that time. So later you guys were in the business, and then what inspired both of you to open your own salon? Because you both opened up in 1989 and were in business, for over 30 years. So tell me about that. Why was it that you decided we can't just work at a salon, we need to open our own?
Well, it was just kind of opened up to us. It was somebody that your dad knew, and there was an opportunity that opened up that was offered to us, really. And we took that opportunity, and it took off. And it was, just a brilliant, your dad had a lot of great ideas. The poster that we had for our advertisement, that was his idea.
It was modeled after the famous movie,
A Star is Born.
Absolutely. And can I just say a funny story while we're here? When I was growing up, the big thing to do and to advertise was to use movie theaters. Movie theaters were such a hot thing to do on the weekends. And I was in junior high at the time, and I will never forget seeing their very first ad. If any of you are familiar with the cover of A Star is Born, you know that they look completely nude, okay? So as a kid, and in the most embarrassing time of my life, my parents would show up on screen, bigger than life, looking nude. And I would have to hear everyone's comments around me, whispers, oh my gosh, they're naked. Oh, are they naked? Oh wait, maybe she's got something on. Well, she's wearing a wedding ring, so it's fine. And I would hear all this chatter. And then I would have friends telling me at school, I saw your naked mom and dad on the movie screen again, So anyways, you guys
a lot of bare skin, but not naked.
Yeah. Hey, doing hair is sexy. Yes. So we're in the beauty business. We live the cutting edge. That was just a funny, a little funny story I wanted to address.
I used to say, it's okay. Nobody knows who we are here. They would sink down in their seats.
Oh yeah. So when you were in the movie theater,
nobody knows who we are. Don't worry.
Just look away. Just look away. So thank you so much, Mom, for being here. And Taylor, we also know, as my mom had a rough start in the beginning of her career, so did you. Can you tell us your story?
So before we get to the rough start, I'll start with how I got into cosmetology school. I was a skateboarder beforehand, no care to go work besides skateboarding. And I remember taking a tour with my best friend, Josh. And I was just like, man, like, let's go get our hair cut at a beauty school. And he's just like, what? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's go hit on these girls there, while we're getting our hair done. And he's like, all right, let's go. And on our way there, like, I was just like, let's take a tour, see how they would react. Two straight guys going to hair school, And so we took a tour, and I just remember, like, going through it. We had this guy, Jonathan, that was giving us a tour of the school, and he was just like, yeah, there's so much money to be made, and who doesn't like being around women all the time? Sorry, Martha. But, like, at the time, I was thinking different. So
Martha's...
Yeah, Martha's my fiance,
Yes.
my beautiful fiance.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah.
All the women out there are going to be like, man, who's Martha?
Yeah. But so he ended up convincing us to go to hair school. It was like the coolest thing, just being able to sit there, talk to people, and get basically paid to talk to people and hang out. So we signed up, and through beauty school, I was having a good time. I started slacking off a little bit, but then I had a teacher put me, in my place. His name's Scott Cole, and he got me on the right track. And so I started grinding out through that. I was doing every competition. I placed first in the Vidal Sassoon competition and got to go to state for that and go against every school, and got to take it all in cosmetology school. And then once I got out, I went to go take my test. Right. And I went to sign up, and I found out that I had gotten flagged. So I couldn't take my test for 2 years.
And why did you get flagged?
So I got flagged because me and my buddy decided to quit our jobs, and we decided to do hair outside of school to pay for rent. And so
you're probably not the first.
Yeah. So I ended up doing I ended up booking somebody's hair that was working for state board as an investigator at a time, and then
wow.
I got caught. I got flagged, and I honestly I had no idea until I went to go take my test, and sorry, you can't take it, and on top of that, there was a fine to go with that. So
right.
I had to wait 2 years. 2 years.
Is that the amount of time that they tap on? Like that's your sentence, so to speak?
Yeah. Basically, that's your sentence. You got 2 years. This is what you get for going to pat. Against state board. I was promoting on Facebook like I know my teachers talked about like, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, but at the same time, I was just like, I'm gonna bust out hair, do a few haircuts, and get paid for it and pay my rent.
Right.
I'm in hair school anyways. I'm not saying I'm a professional hairdresser. I'm still in beauty school, but at the same time, I needed to pay rent, and I wanted to get better at my craft.
Right.
And that was the main goal. Is I wanted to be salon ready by the time I was out of school, so that I can become successful with what I did. And
which I understand because throughout cosmetology school, I know this sounds terrible, but sometimes the education is not the best.
Yeah.
I mean, really, all they're there to do is prepare you for state board. But other than that, if you want to be ready and well seasoned before you get your license, I was lucky enough that I had my mom and dad in the industry. I literally broke the rules all the time. Shh, don't tell anyone. But I've had my license over 20 years, so I think I'm safe.
Yeah.
But I used to call them from the bathroom, from my cell phone, and say, my instructor said to do this with the hair color, and I think it sounds terrible. And they would say, oh, yeah, don't do that. Definitely don't do that. We'll give you the formula that you should use, right?
Yeah.
So I understand the frustration. And now my daughter is in cosmetology school, and she does the same with me.
Yeah.
And I'm training her on the side because I remember that you don't get enough. There's just not enough to be ready.
Yeah, no, there's so much to be learned, through school, whether that's marketing, how to foil. I didn't know how to place foils until 2 years after cosmetology school.
Yep.
I was so scared to do that.
Right.
So, this industry it can be rough. It can beat you down, but at the same time, it's very forgiving.
Yes.
Like you said, like I had it rough. Like I went through 2 years, 2 years of going from different salon to salon, trying to keep a low profile,
yeah.
So I didn't get caught up. Like I wanted to continue to pursue hair because I loved it. It was something I enjoyed doing. It was the first thing that I enjoy doing besides skateboarding, you know?
You found your craft.
Yeah, I found my craft. I fell in love with the industry, and so I was bouncing from salon to salon. Skateboard would come, and I would dip out. I wouldn't go back to the salon. I mean, you guys know I worked with you guys' company. You guys had no idea.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. You guys.
I wasn't for a while.
If there's something you need to know about Ron and I is we are a lot alike, and we are very trusting and naive at times.
And we bring home strays.
We love people, despite the rules. And I have to say, though, that I was very impressed by you because you showed me a lot of character. You called me and you said, Kayla, I have to talk to you, and you may never want to talk to me again. And I'm so sorry, but I have to give you my truth, and this is what it is.
Yeah.
And you even said, this feels like a weight lifted off my shoulders. And I was so appreciative of that because that's such a rarity in today's time. Most people are runners. They don't face up to their failures, and you faced it. And for someone at your age, how old are you now?
24.
You're 24.
Yeah.
So there is so much we have to talk about today. You are such an interesting soul. I absolutely love who you are. And even before we came to the show today, we met at a coffee shop, you were already coaching and helping my mom out. And we're going to discuss that. We're going to get into the meat of everything, okay?
Well, part of this show is about being an overcomer. We talk about what separates successful people from people that are struggling. And the difference usually is not that they didn't experience the same sort of setbacks. They didn't have a lot of defeats in common. It's just some people overcome, some people grab their bootstraps and start pulling them up again, and others just don't know where to go when they've been knocked down so many times. And one of the things, as Kayla said about you, Taylor, is we liked you just as a person. You were a very giving, sharing person. You were very open and honest. We did some retreats for the educators, and we found out a lot about your life and what you overcame and skills. And we just said, no, this is the person we want to be involved with. And I'm just going to take you back for a minute because we knew you when you were kind of laying low and going through some things, and you got pushed out of a salon because of it. And you had to start over about a year and a half ago. That about right or so?
Yep.
And you had just a straight razor is all you had, right? That's all you had is a razor to start over. No tools, no money to start with. And before I really get into what Taylor's going to be helping us with today is I just want people on the air to know if you're a stylist, today's going to be a great day. With Quanah, we have somebody with 40 years of experience in the industry who has seen, like myself, a lot of changes, ups and downs in the industry, a lot of transformations and trends and everything else. And then Taylor, we've got a guy that's in a year and a half teaching us about how to build a business in the salon business today. I'm just going to blurt it out there. Taylor earns over $15,000, almost $20,000 a month. And he has no assistant. He's just one person. And we said, man, what are you doing? And we just saw you growing social media and all these other things. We had followers, and we were like, people want to do that. How did you do it? And we thought there was a magic formula. And there's not a magic formula by talking to you. There's just a giving formula. It's because you share yourself and your success and your ideas and everything with people online, and they want to grow. And so I think you have over 9,000 followers now on Facebook and Instagram. So what I'd like to kind of have you do is just take us from the journey of just the last year and a half of starting with just a razor and how you rebuilt yourself, how you started over.
So before the razor, I had lost all my equipment, all my clients. I had nothing, lost my whole book. And I started off at the salon called Moxie Salon, which is in control of a great owner. She's amazing. Her name is Nikki. She offered me a month's free worth of rent if I needed it. And she said, like, we got stuff here for you to use if you need it. She didn't have scissors, but I had a blow dryer there, so, and I came in there and I started out there.
Better than air drying in the heat.
Yeah, exactly. I started off with the straight razor. I had this like little gold straight razor that I brought from my house, and I posted free haircuts on like Nextdoor app,
nice,
Facebook, Instagram, and I posted my Vagaro link, my booking software link, and I just had my whole week fill up just full of free haircuts. And I wasn't expecting to make any sort of money or anything. I was doing it so people can leave reviews.
Right.
Reviews are so important nowadays.
You're rebuilding your brand.
Yeah, I'm rebuilding my brand. And so for that whole week, I was doing free haircuts. And in order for them to get their free haircut, they had to leave a review right after their appointment. And I had to see it. And so all of them left a review, and I started getting calls in from the salon. Hey, can I get a haircut from Taylor? Can I get a color from Taylor? Well, at the time, I didn't have enough money for color.
Right.
So my second week, I bought like a brand new set of shears, some cheapy ones, right? Like $100 ones.
Because I was going to say, that's part of the problem.
Yeah.
You lost everything. A lot of people don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I have clients assume all the time, like our hairdressers are our scissors are $50 and our blow dryers are, maybe $100. I'm like, no, a good blow dryer is almost $400. Good shears can be anywhere from $300 to $1,000 or more. I mean, losing that it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, I had $1,200 shears that were gone.
Yeah.
Blow dryer gone. I'm telling you, everything that I had was gone. And for the grace of God, like I had like an amazing team behind me. Nikki at Moxie Salon, Monica, amazing. She offered me a round brush to round brush hair. And it was just like, I was able to buy some shears and start over. And so I grinded through that second week of haircuts, and I did half off haircuts, and I was getting busier and busier. And then I saved up all my money to buy just some little $150 salon kit for color. And I started offering deals for that.
And you met Martha. That was a big change in your life.
Oh, yeah. Honestly, Martha, she has been the most amazing change in my life. I swear. If it wasn't for her, she has put me through the works, but she's put me in my place, and
she's a good woman.
Yeah, she's a good woman. I was this close to giving up, not a lot of people know, but I was addicted to heroin, and like going through that change, and when I lost everything, and I was on the verge of eviction last year and things like that, she kept me through to where like I didn't break to go back to doing heroin or anything
praise
like that.
God.
So
that is amazing.
Yeah. I'm telling you, she's a good woman.
Miraculous. And tell me, I know there's something really special about her. Tell me how that's brought us some challenges your way as far as communication.
Oh yeah. My fiance's hard of hearing. She only has 20% hearing in her right ear.
Okay.
The left ear's completely gone. She got meningitis as a kid, which is scary for any parent. I couldn't even imagine that. And she almost died from it, but she was able to, work through that and become, she can read lips really well, and she can put 2 and 2 together as long as she knows who you are. And it's amazing because I can talk to her and stuff, and she helps me with a lot with sign language. But at the same time, if she feels I'm wrong, she'll turn the head the other way, and she'll completely ignore me.
Hey, that's what I do. Yeah. That saying, "I turn a blind eye to you," is really true.
Yeah, that's real.
If I turn my left side to you, then that means I'm done.
And that's why I'm sitting on the right side today.
Because last time I blocked you off on the show.
Well, we've been talking today, and what we're here to do is help our industry grow, transform. Our industry in the time that Quanah and I have been in it has seen so many changes. And today, on the drive down here to Tucson, you were talking to me and you just said, people don't recognize trends. And you're dealing with something right now in a trend. And you were sharing with me, and I just want to kind of have you talk about trends you're seeing in just a short time you've been here, how you find them, how you create them. Because actually, in some ways, the trend you're involved in right now, you created it with this product that you're working with right now. And so I'm just going to ask you to elaborate a little bit on that and the benefit of it and how a trend starts, whether you start it or somebody else starts it, and when to get out of it, I guess. So
yeah. So right now, I know a lot of salons and salon owners are struggling with retail. Retail has gone straight to Amazon, and it's cut our income, in half for most stylists.
Absolutely.
Thing is, Wella sells for $40 on Amazon, and to a lot of people that it sucks. But to me, you see an opportunity and you see what they're doing as far as affiliating people. You get a link instead of paying it at Cosmoprof. Now you have a link that creates your income. Kind of the same thing that I did with Velen. I loved Velen combs before I even became an affiliate for them. I started using their comb and just doing videos just because people were asking for tutorials and before and afters. I wasn't getting paid from Velen at the time, and so I started doing that. And then Velen offered me an affiliate link, and the affiliate link is what's trending now. You got Olaplex, you got Wella, you got Schwarzkopf, you got every company that you can think of. Guarantee they have an affiliate link, so you can make some money off of advertising on Instagram and Facebook. E-commerce, that's what it's trending to.
And that's how it's all changed.
Yeah, that's how it's changed. That's what's changed the salon industry.
We're going to take a short break, and I want to just thank our sponsors, Up Salon Products. And I want to have just a moment to talk about these products. They are 11 products that have 3 different systems in them, and they're specialty type products. It's not a full line. It is a hair loss system that has 4 patents. It has a volumizing system, and it has a reconstructing smoothing system that is formaldehyde free. And Kayla, I know you and Quanah both have it in your salons. You want to talk a little bit about your experience with these products?
So just to touch really quickly, I have so many clients that have gone through chemotherapy and have not lost their hair. I've had young adult males in their 20s get back their hair. I've had clients that have gone through alopecia or traumas in their life that have caused hair loss, and they're getting their hair back and keeping it. So it really is miraculous, which is why our show is Miracles with Up.
Miracles with Up. I would like to kind of talk about the products being instantaneous gratification. We were talking about that today as Taylor and I drove down here. If you have thinning hair, or you have fine hair, or you have hair that's limp, our number one product in that line is Pump Up the Volume. You spray it up and down the hair shaft, and when you blow dry, it swells the hair shaft from the inside out, and immediately you have 40 to 50% more volume. We have no alcohol in the systems, so they don't dry or damage the hair when you add heat. There's no resin in the system, so the hair is nice and clean and not gritty. And it just is something that people can try one time, and they're going to see an instant result. Have you had a lot of experience with that product? So.
Absolutely, I have. And if many of you, I'm sure, are going to ask, well, how do we get our hands on this product? You can either stop at our hair salon in Tucson, Arizona. That link is provided in the bio of my mom today, Quanah. It's also in mine. And you can find it online. TheBeautyCartel.com. Yeah. So for myself, it has provided so much for my clients that have really thin hair that most products just weigh it down. And so that's in addition to the Grow Up line. That's been fantastic because there's always that 30% of clientele that no products work for. Literally, it's like a dead end when it comes to product systems. So yours has provided an avenue that they can actually use products and their hair isn't going to get brittle or break or, be stuck straight onto their scalp for the rest of the day like a drowned rat.
Well, Taylor was talking to us about the new re-up system today as we were driving down here, and he said that is the next phenomenon in the industry, so I took that as quite a compliment. And the re-up system is a leave-in conditioning system, and it has a salon treatment that you can do in the salon that reconstructs. It gives incredible luster, shine, and frizz control that lasts for weeks. And the re-up Afterglow, which is a leave-in conditioner, lasts for a couple of shampoos in the hair. So I just want to thank the people at Up for all the hard work they do. And if you are a salon looking for a great new product line, Up Salon Systems is it. And so with that, I'm going to go back to Kayla. I'm going to have you ask the next question for your mom. So
Yes. So, Mom, you and Dad had your first hair salon for 17 years in Trillis Town. And I wanted to talk about just some of the trials that you faced during that time. Not only did you have another 2 children, but then you guys had 4 kids to feed, take care of. You're in this industry. You've got, at that time, how many stylists were at the salon? This was when salons were still commissioned, by the way.
We probably had about 9 other hairdressers, maybe 10, and then probably like 4 manicurists.
During that time, I was in high school. You had a manager and a friend that you entrusted your business with, and throughout 5 years, she had embezzled from you. So I want to touch on this because I know that this is something not only in hairdressing industry that we see, but across the board in businesses where a lot of people get taken advantage of. You had a huge embezzlement that set you back to the point that you lost so much income. You both, I witnessed you working 12-hour days sometimes, and us kids just kind of we had to make our dinners, do homework together. You didn't know where the money was going. It was very stressful. How did you both overcome that time, yet still stay married, still hold on to a business?
Well, first of all, you can be a great hairstylist and you can be fabulous at what you do, but nobody tells you need to also learn the business.
Right.
And we had to learn the hard way, of course. And Kurt and I we trusted. Mm-hmm. We were very busy behind our chairs. 10, sometimes 12 hours a day behind our chair. We had to trust who was working behind our desks that they were doing the right thing. And we had major embezzlement for over 5 years, which really affected our business, our lives, as
personally,
you know,
yeah.
personally. We just didn't know what was happening. We just felt like we were doing something wrong, which we were. We weren't looking into what was happening.
The business side of things.
Yeah, the business side of things. And so you can
kept
be as
working
talented.
more.
Yeah, I kept working more.
And she kept taking more.
Yeah. So that was quite an experience. I think that was probably the heaviest, hardest thing, one of the hardest things ever that our family ever faced and went through.
I would agree.
And it affected everybody in our business.
I was just going to interject. Taylor said it, and now you've said it, is you can be the best hairstylist in the world. You can go to school and be a star and win competitions. But when you get out into the real world, being self-employed is not what people thought it would be. It's a lot more. And I would just kind of interject that people don't learn about business. In college, you can get a college degree in business, and you go to hairstyling school or you go to a mechanic school. You can learn how to be something, and then when you get into the real world, if you're not working for somebody, you're self-employed. And there are marketing skills that you need to learn. There's business skill, bookkeeping skills that you need to learn. There is so much. Social media is now the big thing, and Taylor's sharing with us a lot about this today. But there's so much to learn, and it takes sometimes a wake-up call to realize being a great stylist is not enough. Being a great colorist is not enough. You've got to have other skills, and that's where the money is made or lost, whether it's in bookkeeping or it's in social media or it's in being something that a great marketer. Those are things that you've got to learn to make large money. One of the things that's very hard for me is when I start talking about income with stylists, is how little they think their time is worth. Yeah. We are losing right now stylists. Almost 30% of the stylists during COVID have quit the business and are now going to work for $15 to $20 an hour somewhere.
Target, Amazon. I know a lot of hairdressers in town that.
And that is one haircut, or that is one color, or one portion of a color. And what we're doing is we have people that don't have any idea of how to build a clientele or keep their clientele or stay in touch with their clientele. And in 15 minutes today or 20 minutes, Taylor was sharing with you how to do mass text messaging, and we actually started getting the text by the time we got here.
I know.
Right?
And
Success.
these are skills. I mean, as you've been in the business and I have for 40 years, I still send out postcards. So these are things that have been lost, and we're kind of afraid of it. But here you are today, and
You've got to learn it. It's a skill that, it's going to drown you if you don't. It'll just overtake everything. So you have to learn it. You've got to study it, and you've got to know everything you can know about it.
But Taylor, I just wanted to ask you a couple of things because I'm sure people are really interested in what you're doing. Can you share with Elizabeth, when we met you, when Kayla and I met you a few years ago, before you had to take your hiatus, I think at one time you had 12,000 followers on social media, and now I know right now you have about 9. And I was asking you, boy, I'd like to have 9,000 followers on social media, and I've spent a lot of money trying to get 9,000 followers. You've done it just organically. And could you share a little bit about that?
Well, back when you first met me is kind of like when I first started doing hair, and I was a skateboarder, so most of my following was some dudes, following me for skateboarding at the time, and I was just grinding it out, and a lot of people were doing hair, so it started to slowly filter out. So I went from, I think I had like 14,000 followers at one point. And
I was jealous.
Yeah, and it dropped down because a lot of my following started dropping down, and I started replacing them with hairstylist, and I started becoming more educational on there. I on my Instagram, and I just want to educate people, on how to build a business and how to grind it out, because I was coming straight out of cosmetology school, and nobody believed that I could make the kind of money I was making straight out of cosmetology.
How much
school.
were you making straight?
Straight out of cosmetology school, I was making like $6,500 a month just doing hair straight out of cosmetology school. By the time I hit Norterra, me and my buddy were pushing 10 grand, 11 grand a month.
Okay, I have to just say it. One of the most hilarious things you ever told me is that you found a lot of your clientele on Tinder.
Oh, yes, I forgot about that.
Dating apps.
Tinder was the best at the time. Tinder, I swear, like I was using Tinder, like I just posted like the hair that I did on Tinder, and I posted like a bio. Of course, I had like a screenshot of me on there just so they know that it's me. And I was getting so many clients from Tinder. I was just swiping right on anybody. I didn't care who you are, what you look like, or anything. As long as I was doing your hair, that's all that mattered to me. So,
and then you learned quickly. We had a few talks about not dating your clientele.
After that. Never date your clientele. That's like the biggest mistake.
You had to learn the hard way, right?
Yeah, learn the hard way.
So as my mom has been in the business for almost 40 years, and gone through tragedy, gone through losing a business, because after that embezzlement, we did have to close and we had to reopen a second business, a second salon with a whole new name, LLC, all of it.
Yeah.
It was tragic. Like you had talked about restarting. They had to restart in so many ways. They still had their clientele, but they had to regroup and restructure a new business, which was not easy. And we all know without credit, once things get flagged by the IRS, then they had this huge bill to pay off. And although they were prosecuting this woman that embezzled from them, we all know there's never really a justice. No. She never paid back what she took. It was a joke what they got back. So they had to recover that all on their own. And it was like rebuilding 17 years worth. It was a loss. And so it was great to see you sit down with my mom, because I've been in the business now 20 years, and I also have had to retrain my thinking and to step into this next generation of thought, of social media, of exploring the internet and how to push yourself, how to advertise, where not to waste your time, right? Because our time is money. So when we talked about your social media basis, you were talking about that and how to monetize that, how to cut out what's not serving you, and then how to adapt what is. So can you elaborate on that for us?
So the way I monetize on social media is I was using affiliate links. So I, like with the comb, right? I post about it because I'm excited about it, and stylists were clicking on the link. They kept clicking it and buying it. You know, it's because it's something I believed in. That's how most Instagram people make money, is they post about what they like and what they enjoy, and then they have a link that makes them money. So technically you're getting commission off of it. Not only that, I get a bunch of clients from social media, not so much Instagram, but mainly Facebook. I built my market off Facebook because I love my moms in my chair, right?
Hey, they're the ones that have the money anyways.
Yeah, the money. They got the
20-year-olds in college, unless they have daddy's credit card.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't know how to tip yet. It's terrible. I know.
Yeah. So, you know, I built my business off of Instagram just for the simple fact of educating people, and then it became to where I was making money off of it, to where I was making $2,000 a week just off Instagram posting the affiliate link, and I was only making 20%. Or 25% of the combs. I've sold $24,000 in combs in 2 months, you know, and I only got 25% of that. So you think about like how much money somebody could make if you were, you know, with Up or with Schwarzkopf or anything like that, like brands that you love and enjoy. That's how you monetize it, and that's how you make money.
I just want to see if I'm saying this correctly, because people are asking, okay, what's an affiliate? What's this? What's that? And so an affiliate is somebody with a pretty good following of people, and they have a way to move product for a manufacturer. Is that pretty much it? Okay. And then you actually loved the comb so much, you started posting it and drew the attention of the company.
Yeah.
And they're not even in this country. They're in Germany and China, if I okay. So you started posting, they started seeing these links, you kind of made contact with them, they wanted you to do more, and they paid you a commission to keep posting about that comb. And you sold $24,000 worth of combs in 2 months. Now, let me just say that again. You sold $24,000 worth of combs in 2 months.
Combs.
And you made 20 to 25% commission.
Yeah.
Now, there's other products, as you're saying. You could do it with the upline. You could do it with Schwarzkopf. And if you start doing hair on your social media page, you're doing that organically. You just want to share what you're doing with other people, how you're doing this, not to make money. You're just showing it to educate people. Those people organically start to follow you. Yeah. You built yourself up to 9,000 followers. Then you share a link to something that you're promoting, and that company pays you a commission on it.
Yeah.
I wanted to be clear on that, because I wanted to make sure I followed it completely, and I want the people who are stylists in the chairs going, well, wait a minute, I could do that. Yeah, and so tell us a little, just real quickly, because I'm going to get it back to Quanah here, but how you how you're taking that organically and sharing and getting people to follow you.
Honestly, I just post what I love and enjoy, you know, like that's me doing hair. I think a lot of people, they get too stressed out over Instagram and Facebook. Oh, like how do I build my following? How do I do this? How do I do? Honestly, it's just like with you doing hair, it's just getting involved. You got to make that first step into it to start building that following and organic stuff. Don't try to like do what everybody else is doing. Of course, you want to go with some trends, but you also want to add your own character to it. So like my Instagram, you can tell it's a dude running the Instagram, and you can tell it's a dude doing hair. Okay,
even dude stuff.
Yeah, dude stuff, right? And so you just post. You don't think about it. Like I don't think about what I post. I just post my formulas and, you know, what I liked about the hair or whatnot, and then I move on. But
I know there's like a certain element to hashtags and you know, bringing in the audience.
Yeah, I mean, I do hashtags, like as far as like hashtag hair, modern salon, and things like that. Right. But honestly, you know, there's people that have grinded through the industry, and all they did was make one post, right? And that one post is what blew them up. Think about Habit Salon out in Gilbert. You know, she makes $500,000 a year, and she had one post that blew up. And
what was it?
It was extensions. It was the Habit hand-tied extensions. And so she created her own extension method, and she posted it, and it took off. A modern
So
salon
it's because
behind the
it was
chair.
something unique that no one had ever seen.
Yeah, unique, no one had ever seen, or it was just really thought out, like as far as like it explained it well and it caught people's attention.
It was probably short and sweet too,
Yeah,
because I
short
know
and
if
sweet.
it's too lengthy, you lose your audience. We're
Yeah.
finding that now.
Yeah.
Well, you can link them to getting more education, and okay, and I want to come back, Quanah. We're in June. You had a major setback. It's like COVID wasn't enough, and so everything that's happened. And your husband was one. You and your husband were my first clients. My first
Wow,
clients
I
when
didn't know that.
Yeah, when I started my distributorship on my own, you were my first client. So you had
Wow.
always been so kind to me when I sold other brands, and I came down here and I thought, well, maybe Kurt and Quanah would want to do business with me. And you guys, not only were you my clients, you were my friends. We've had dinners, we've had so many things in our lives that we've shared. And we lost your husband, Kurt, in June. It was a shock. It was sudden, and you know, you're a strong woman, and now you're back to being a single
Yeah.
mom and grandmother. Your kids
Grandmother
are
of how many now?
10 grandkids.
10 grandkids, and
And they're all, 9 of them are all boys.
Oh man.
so with
I have
And
the only
we
girl.
we just had a new grandson, and his name is Kurt,
yes, that's wonderful.
named after my husband.
In your strength, just tell us a little bit about how you have continued to run the salon through this whole COVID episode. You've lost not only your partner in life, but your partner in business. And Kurt was also a businessman. And just tell us how you're readjusting in all this, because I'm sure this story will resonate with a lot of people, because a lot of them have lost a lot, whether it's a loved one or their businesses or a clientele. Just how to keep people strong, and I know you're a woman of faith too.
I could not get out of bed. Number 1, it had to be God first. Number 2, my husband, and then my children. If it wasn't in that order, I wouldn't be able to get out of bed. And he's been my strength. And I always hear that voice in the back of my head, get up and fight and just keep going. And that's what I'm doing with God's help.
Well, I know that you have also never stopped giving. You support a lot of charitable causes, abused women, and many other things. Is that part of the process of healing? Is to keep on giving?
Yes, and don't stop, because you know it's much better to give than to receive. It really is. It's at the end of the day, when it comes right down to it, money will come and go, but time you cannot regain. And I've learned a hard lesson in that.
Amen.
And you have to put certain things and priorities first. And that's taken years to learn, that you cannot, it is much better to give. You know what? Pain brings passion. That's the bottom line. If you allow it, pain brings passion. And it makes you more passionate with that pain. And with that pain, you want to give even more.
Well, I know in Tucson you give a lot. I know you're well known in the community, and that you do give, and I know it's good therapy. So
I have a heart for abused women and children, and I have, with Home of Hope, through the Teen Challenge, I believe in giving your services to them to help other women so they can start a career, help their children, and also find safe places.
yeah.
My dream is to have a safe place for women to go to that will help,
Also, you have been writing your memoir for several years now.
Yes.
After Dad's passing, is that something that you feel could be instrumental in your future in helping other women?
Yes, I know it will, for sure.
So tell us what your story involves.
Well, it really involves the beginning of time of, since my childhood.
Because you also didn't have a very easy childhood. Your mom committed suicide at 13.
Yes.
And your father was in the Air Force, and he was a vet.
fighter pilot.
Yep, he was a vet, and
He became an alcoholic from it. He was shot down in the Vietnam War, and really basically my memories growing up as best as trains and planes and always being left.
A lot of abandonment, a lot of neglect. And I know that was something that really agonized your spirit after Dad's passing, was that you said, I just feel like I'm always stripped of the people I love and the things that I love. But you're such an overcomer. And I think that you're such a role model for women, not only just women, but I even know men have said, wow, your mom is really something. And I just have this inner knowing that once this book is complete, I really believe that your path is going to be laid out before you. And I think that it's going to expand beyond your chair. Because right now, you have these intimate moments with your clients, and I see it all the time. And you've got women that come in that have gone through the same things that you have, and you've been such a great help to them because of it. And I think that it's going to expand beyond that. I know with Corinne, my sister, my mom's youngest daughter, being on the police department, she even had you come speak to the department to help them better understand abuse in the home and what kind of help you truly needed at the time that wasn't provided, and how they could change and restructure their system.
At the time, there was not a safe place to go at all.
Right. So when
I think O.J. Simpson killing Nicole really helped with that, to be honest with you. I mean, sorry, everybody, but it was
it was
nationally
astronomical.
advertised.
Right.
And after that happened, there was help all of a sudden.
It is true. I hate to say that, but usually on
God will use evil and turn it into good.
A platform like that, right? I hate to say that, but it is true when it comes to celebrity status, that it does bring about a lot more awareness, and so unfortunate for their family that they had to go through that loss, but fortunate for those who have been abused, because it has rebuilt a system that's more efficient and effective. So what does the future look like for you? What do you see? What do you envision?
I envision just helping more and more people. I envision having a safe house for women and to hide them, because most of all the calls are all domestic violence today, 90%.
And actually, that's something that I've heard because of my sister being on the police department and, a lot of different friends that we have. They've said that during COVID, there has been such an uprise. It's really sad to see with child abuse and domestic abuse.
And we need our police, and we need more.
We do. We need more help. We do. So do you hope that once this book is finished, the sales and the proceeds would help you organize a business outside of just cosmetology?
Yes.
Is that where you see your future?
Yes, I do. And I do believe that everything that I make from that will go to a safe house for women, a shelter for women.
Amazing.
And there'll be another home ministry for that. That's been my dream for many years.
That's awesome. My fiance, I would honestly buy the book. My fiance, she was abused by her ex, pretty bad, right in front of her daughter. So, it's something that kind of relates to home. And Ron knows, and I think maybe Kayla knows, that was borderline of what had happened to what made my mom get the mental disabilities. She became borderline schizophrenic with multi-personality disorder because of it. So
because she was also abused?
She was abused amongst other things. So
just that neurological, the trauma.
Yeah, you start to break. She was abused as a kid, where a therapist had said she was abused as a kid. And when she got abused later on, it broke her. Like it was like a light switch. It broke her, and then it brought her back to being like a 13-year-old girl, and that's what that
emotional state.
Yeah. That multi-personality disorder came in. So,
I think my rough childhood really helped prepare me to not break.
Yeah.
Right?
I can vouch for...
I think God was preparing me from the day I was born.
I think I can vouch for that as well. I wanted to just kind of... We're rolling up here and concluding. And I know, Taylor, that that you're very transparent, and you are somebody that just tells it like it is and puts it out there, and you are willing to keep sharing. And if you want to go to Taylor Suhy's Facebook page and Instagram, he not only shows the models that he's doing, but he gives the formula for what he did. He shows how he did it. He doesn't want to damage the hair. He doesn't want to break the hair. The money that he makes and charges, I just want to touch on that, because you're real big about not giving your services away. Could you just kind of describe to people some of the fees that you charge, how you attract these kind of customers, but because you're not going to go to work for free, and it seems like so many of our industry are working for free.
Yeah, a lot of people nowadays are.
And it's a mindset. Yeah. I hear it all the time as well. I'll lose my customer, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you had the same thoughts in the same way. Could you just kind of touch on your transformation there?
So I had a huge realization, late last year is like, I need to stop trying to compete for every client that's in my chair. Stop trying to compete for every client that's in the neighborhood. I want to value myself and my time, and I know I spend a lot of money in education and a lot of time on people's hair. Like a full head of baby lights for me takes an average of 3.5 hours normally.
So it's quality, not quantity.
Yeah, it's quality, not quantity.
I believe in that.
But I
totally.
But I charge $250 for a full head of highlights. Start, beginning of next year. January, I'm at $320 for a full head of highlights.
So you're raising your prices yearly?
Yeah, I'm raising my prices yearly because that comes with yearly education. I'm constantly educated. I'm constantly trying to improve my skill set for my clients. And not only that, my books are completely full. So you're having people pay for you to get them in your chair.
Absolutely.
And I think it's important for a stylist to continue to want to grow and raise their prices because it makes them happier with their career and want them to do more for the career. And that's what happened with me.
Not to mention prices go up.
Yeah.
So you have to consider that too.
Yeah,
like
product.
Yeah. Color's so expensive now.
And people don't have a clue.
Yeah.
How it costs.
On Taylor, your Facebook page is it's just Taylor, Taylor, and it's Suhy, Taylor Suhy. And if you look at what he's posting, you'll have the breakdown of what he did and what he charged, everything. And it may be hard for you to believe, but we've known him for 3 years now, and it's all real.
It's legit, baby.
It's all legit. And I'll just tell you, if you're looking for business education, and I'm a businessman, but in the drive down here in 2 hours, I learned more about social media, more about moving product, more about doing things that I couldn't take it all. It was so great. And so I encourage you. Now you're offering one-on-one coaching, is that right? And that is to just basically get people going, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm offering one-on-one coaching because it allows me to kind of figure out what they're doing, and I just want to help people become more successful in their everyday life in the salon. Because just like Kayla and you said, like there's too many people that are going to work for Target and leaving the salon industry, and they're losing their passion for it. And me, like a lot of people lose their passion because they can't afford their daily life anymore.
Right.
And how do they get a hold of you?
Facebook or Instagram.
We'll have the link in the bios, folks. Posted tomorrow. We just want to thank you both so much for coming on the show. It's been such a delight. And after the show, I'm going to talk to Taylor about giving me coaching. How about that?
Talk to your mom about giving me coaching.
All of us.
Coaching.
Yeah, all of us.
Thank you so much, folks.
Thank you.
I want to thank Mark Bishop, our producer. I want to thank Up Salon Products, our sponsor. And on our next episode, we will have commission salons that are talking about differences between commission and how to run a successful commission salon. We hope to see you the first Monday or second Monday of December. So come and join us. Have a great week, everybody.
Join us again for another informative and interesting Miracles from Up for body, hair, and soul on the Business RadioX network.